Nick Baldwin for SevereMMA here with a UFC flyweight contender who takes on Matheus Nicolau this weekend at UFC on Fox 30 here in Calgary, Alberta. It is Dustin Ortiz. Dustin, thanks for the time. How are you liking Calgary so far? I know you fought in Canada before. I don't think Calgary. And it seems every time you're up here, you win everything. Even cornering Mike Biggie Rhodes in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, of all places, he got the win. And good luck in Canada.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Being here in Calgary is nice. It's a lot different from previous times. Other times I had big coat on, it was snowing or super cold, so it doesn't even feel like I'm in Canada right now. I haven't even seen a Tim Hortons yet. Haven't been out much, but what I have been, I haven't seen one. So I'm looking forward to going in there, getting this victory, and exploring Calgary.
Was it funny landing and seeing no snow and thinking, I thought we were in Canada. Wait a second.
Yeah, I was questioning if the flight made the right path or not.
Maybe you had to reroute back home?
Yeah, but we're here. It's nice, it's beautiful, and all good feelings right now.
You're on a 2-fight winning streak. You have quite a bit of momentum, and in the flyweight division, it doesn't take like a 6-fight, 7-fight winning streak to get that crack at Demetrious Johnson, just because he's fought so many of the top contenders in the division. With the win over Matheus Nicolau, and not tons of people are familiar with Nicolau, and so I guess before we talk about the title picture, do you feel like you have a lot to lose just because you're the name in this fight, supposedly?
Oh, absolutely. Any loss in the UFC is a big loss. It doesn't matter if it's to the champion or an up-and-comer or to somebody who's making their debut. You know, every loss is a complete setback in every aspect. So yeah, it's a big chance for me, but that's what life is. It's about taking chances, you know, and I'm going to do that any chance that I get. So yeah, a win for either of us, especially myself, puts me into a #1 title contender spot. You know what I mean? I got a 15-second knockout, and then I went on to win and beat a guy who was undefeated in the UFC. Now I'm also fighting another guy that's undefeated in the UFC. That's 2 guys in a row. They were both on 3-fight win streaks. That puts me on a 3-fight win streak with a 15-second knockout over a guy. And I fought the who's who of this division. You know what I mean? So right. I don't have to prove anything else. I'll prove it Saturday night that I'm here to stay, and I'm ready for Demetrious Johnson.
I'm curious. Did you know who Nicolau was when they called you for this fight?
I did not.
And so, you know, over the last few months, have you done the research? Have you figured out what he's good at, what you're better at, where his advantages perhaps are, if there are any? Have you sort of sat back and learned about your opponent?
Absolutely. I know more about him than he knows about him. So we'll see on Saturday who's done their research, who sticks to their game plan, who sticks to who put in the miles, who put in the work outside of the fight. You know, because that's what truly matters. And then putting it all together Saturday.
He said in some interview that he plans to tire you out and you'll eventually be frustrated. How do you respond to that?
It depends on what he means, tired out. Mentally tired, physically tired, both very impossible for a guy like him to do to me, so, or let alone anybody in this division. So you'll have to go back and ask him what exactly he meant by that, because I don't understand it either.
I believe he said he can't, you know, his plan is he can't let you set the pace. He wants to set, you know, the pace in the fight. How tough will that be for him?
Oh, man. You know, when you get in there, the pace is going to set itself. You know what I mean? And in order to take control of something like that, you have to be so precise in everything you do, and I just don't see that in him. I don't see that comes over time and time of being in the octagon, and he just doesn't have that experience. So like I said again, we'll have to see Saturday night. You know, that's why they put us in the cage and let us fight, to see who's talking the talk and who's walking it.
You're a bit of an underdog on Saturday. You've had more fights. You fought perhaps a better competition. Does that surprise you?
Not at all. Nobody wants me to win. You know what I mean? It's one of those scenes where I don't have the biggest fan base. Not everybody right now is yelling out, "Stay chopping," you know? But once I put that belt around me, they will be. And I prefer to be the underdog. I always have. You know, that's where I strive most, is in the hard work, in the hard times. You know what I mean? That's where I prevail. So He's a big dude. He's coming down. You know, I know that he's failed some drug tests and got suspended, and all that plays a factor. You know what I mean? So where he's willing to take this and push it in what certain areas, we'll see if he can do that and implement it on Saturday.
You mentioned his USADA suspension from a little while back. How do you think that does play into the fight?
You know, it depends on if he just kind of critiqued what he was doing or if he got off of it. You know what I mean? I don't know the details of it. I'm not really even thinking about it in a sense of letting it alter what I do. You know what I mean? I stay steady chopping on the daily, all hard work. I never try to cheat or take the easy way out. Watch any of my fights and you'll easily see that. You know what I mean? So it doesn't affect me.
As the underdog, you got some friends and family put a little change on you?
Most likely. I don't really know. They won't tell me until after because it's a little added pressure they feel like, especially if I know it's that big dollar. But you always put your money on me. It's guaranteed.
You mentioned the title picture. You're a guy who you still are, rising in this division. You're still getting better. But if you look back a couple years ago, you were one of the top prospects in the whole division at 125. You've fallen short a couple times, but you bounce back. You get another winning streak, and you're on one right now. Why is now? I mean, do you believe now is the best time or the right time for you to make a legit run at the title?
You know what? You never know when is the right time. You know, somebody asked me just the other day, are you in the best shape of your life? Well, I'm in the best absolute shape that I can be in right now, but I won't know until I'm real old when I'm like, that was the best time, that was the best shape I've ever been in, was that fight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think I'm in the best shape ever. Do I think right now is the time? Absolutely. But I thought that was right after my Nashville fight with Willie Gates. I announced it. I said, hey, this is my time. This is the start of my time. And I truly felt that in that moment. But clearly, God had other plans for me, and I lost to Wilson Hayes right after that. So I've had great maturity. I've had great trials and tribulations since then, and it's just made me more mature as a fighter, as a person, and just connecting with some of the minds that I've been able to connect with over the past couple months and years since I made that statement has matured me. So yeah, I think now is it. It's I have the doubt in my mind at all times, but it motivates me to keep going and make adjustments and fight through it. So with those doubts, I've always prevailed, and I'm like, man, why did I even think that? So it's putting my mind in that forward moving, and that's what I'm doing right now is I'm moving forward. So do I think this is time? Absolutely, this is time. I feel like I can go in there and work this boy over, 3 fights in a row for 45 minutes straight, whatever it takes to get the job done. I feel I'm better in every aspect. I'm cleaner. I move smooth, compared to him and his mentality of thinking that he's going to outwork me in whatever way is kind of. Did he say that? Are you sure?
He said something along those lines for sure.
Okay, because I saw an interview, but it was in Brazil, Portuguese, so I didn't read it.
I think this one actually, it hasn't even been published yet, so
okay.
This is the sneak preview.
But yeah, this could be the time, absolutely.
And just to clarify, you said you'd get the win on Saturday, one more win, and maybe a title shot?
Yeah, if I go out there and I win and I put on the performance that I know that I'm capable of doing, I'm a #1 contender, absolutely. It doesn't matter, I truly feel whoever's making these rankings up has no clue what they're doing, and they keep on pushing me back and back, and I lose or I win a fight, and then I go back in the rankings and I knock a guy out, and then I go back in the rankings and a guy that I just beat
is one ahead of you.
And then they move ahead of me, and it's so funny. I used to dabble in that with wrestling. You know what I mean? I would see where I'm ranked on the thing, and it was just so messes with your mind. I don't care about any of that. I know that I am the top 5 in this weight class. I'm there, and I deserve my shot.
DJ or Cejudo coming up next week. Does any chance Cejudo pulls it off this time?
Yeah, there's a chance for anybody on any given night. You know what I mean? I follow him through social media. I've trained with him a few times, and he looks like he's doing absolutely everything to get this job done. And I know that he's capable. Do I think that he will? Man, it's hard to beat against DJ. He's the best pound for pound, no doubt in my mind, fighter of all time. So I'm not exactly going to put my money against him, especially because in my heart I want to be the one to knock him off of his high horse. So I'm going to go with DJ on this one.
Say you do get a title shot a little while from now, how bigger would it be to fight DJ and before he's dethroned, or if Cejudo beats him, does a title fight against Cejudo feel a little less big just because Johnson's been this force that no one can has been able to beat?
It does. Honestly, it would feel just as big because Henry is an Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? He's accomplished so much in this sport in such a small time. He's accomplished so much as a human being, as an athlete. They both have their benefits, you know what I mean? But I've just always envisioned since Demetrious Johnson got the title and just knocking these guys off one by one, that I hear it in my mind the second ever, you know what I mean? People are going to say that guy, that effing guy, he's the one, I just keep on hearing that and hearing it, and I can see that it's me. I can see it and I can feel it, and it's becoming more and more real to me every single day. So that's why I just feel like he's going to get this win, and then it takes one more win for me, and that's my shot. You know what I mean? It's going to be against a number one guy right now. Whoever's they're planning next for the fight, I go in, I dominate this fight, and that's who I fight.
This time next year, are you UFC champion?
Absolutely, 100%. Yep, I get my shot, and I know that I got the dog in me. I know that I got the dog, the fight in me that can beat DJ. You know what I mean? And not everybody has that. Some guys they got the skill, the slickness. You know what I mean? But it's gonna take a combination of that. You don't get heart, determination, and that grit overnight. I grew up with it. From the day that I was born, I had big brothers beating me up, and it's all heart and faith, and I have both of that. So.
And last thing, because I know you're busy, so I'll let you go in a sec, but where have you been training recently? I know you've been not at Rufus Sport for quite a while now. Yeah. You were doing a bit down in Tennessee where you were grew up, where you were born. I believe you did a little in California as well. Where's your main camp right now?
Man, I train any and everywhere I get. I train in the ballroom. I train in the bathroom when I'm waking up, getting going. Yeah, I've been all over the place. I live in Nashville. That's my home, and so I'm always training there. I'm going to a bunch of different gyms at all the times. I'm even out in the woods, training. I'm chopping out there. I'm running miles out there, picking up rocks, picking up logs, whatever it may be. But my main source of training when I'm dialing in for a certain fighter is at CSA, Combat Sports Academy in Dublin, California. I try to get out there as much as possible, and I'm working with the likes of a lot of high-level fighters out there. They're known for their kickboxing and Muay Thai, and they just bring it. And I also go to American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, which their grind and their grit is what they're known for. And that's what's in my heart, like I said earlier. So they bring that out in me, and the two, putting them together, has just been really good for me. And also it allows me to leave everything at home and what's at home, and then I just get to go out there and I get to focus on the fight, and it's I'm zoned in. I'm in a completely different wavelength than I am when I'm home, and vice versa. When I go out there and I leave all the fighting stuff, and I get to train for fun, and I get to play with my dog and train with her and run with her and do that kind of stuff. So it's a lovely balance.
UFC on Fox 30, you're taking on Matheus Nicolau on Saturday here in Calgary. How do you get the job done?
Any way possible. I go in there, we touch gloves, and I knock them out in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to beat my record in everything that I do. So stand-up wise, that's ultimate goal. 10 seconds or 15 minutes, just outstriking, out-moving him. The takedown's there, I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean? It's a natural instinct. So let's get the takedown, and from there it's submission. If I see a submission opportunity, I'm jumping on the neck, I'm jumping on the arm, I'm doing anything possible. And if he's not allowing me to get that, if the opportunity's not there, then I'm landing punches left and right to where he can't defend, and I'm getting the TKO. So any opportunity that prevails itself, I'm jumping on it, and if 15 minutes, nonstop action.
Dustin, thanks so much for the time, and best of luck to you on Saturday.
I appreciate your time as well, my man.